Good morning and welcome into the Coach's Show here on Saturday, February 26th. We got a whole lot of sports to discuss, so let's get right into the action. Last night, myself and KSST Radio were out in Forney at Forney High School to cover men's basketball in the area round of playoffs. They took on Midlothian, the same Midlothian Panthers team that eliminated Sulphur Springs last year in the postseason. But the Wildcats, they got the revenge game last night, winning big 65-40 to move on to the third round. And that third round game will take place with Lufkin Monday or Tuesday, with a date and time yet to be determined. But congratulations to Coach Brandon Shaver and Wildcats basketball for moving on to the third round for the first time since the 2019-20 season. And moving over to soccer, we'll be joined today by Coach Alexi Upton. But men's soccer had a two-game homestand this week. They lost to Longview on Tuesday, got up 2-0, but gave up goals in the second to fall 4-2 to the Lobos. And then last night, Friday, lost to Mount Pleasant by a tough score of 5-1. Next up, they are back on the road in Texarkana at Texas High on Tuesday, March 1st at 7:15 p.m. Moving over to the women's squad. The Lady Cats, they had a flip schedule, so while the men were at home this past week, Tuesday and Friday, the women were on the road. And quite a two-game road stand it was, as that also had them taking on Longview and Mount Pleasant. Lady Cats on Tuesday lost to Longview 5-0, their second straight 5-0 loss, following their 5-0 loss just 8 days ago to Hallsville. And Friday last night, lost at Mount Pleasant by a real tough score and a close one, 1-0. Next up, Coach Javier Aguayo and his Lady Cats are back at home on Tuesday, March 1st at 7:15 p.m., hosting Texas High. But one thing that should be noted, after the Mount Pleasant loss and a few more losses to this district season, if Coach Aguayo's team loses Tuesday at home to the Lady Tigers, they are eliminated from postseason contention, so really need to get a dub in that game. And then moving over to baseball, next week baseball gets their regular season underway on Tuesday in Paris at North Lamar. That game tees off on Tuesday, March 1st at 6 p.m. And Tuesday's match, worth noting, is the only non-district matchup for the Wildcats that's not a tourney contest. Last week, the Tyler Legacy tourney was canceled, but they still have two more on the docket. This coming weekend in Wiley East, and the week after are in Royce City. Softball, like baseball, had their tournament canceled. They were supposed to be playing in Mount Pleasant Thursday through today, but now just one tourney remains. Royce City next weekend remains between them and their district season. It's the second straight cancellation for tournaments for Lady Cats softball. After last weekend, they were slated to host a tournament right here in Sulphur Springs. Obviously, it did not happen due to wintry, freezing, and cold weather conditions coming through. But track and field had their Thursday opener canceled. Next, they're in action on Thursday, March 10th in Lindale. And then last but certainly not least, Lady Cats powerlifters who qualified to move on to regionals, which is held at Pine Tree, and it'll be this coming week on Thursday, March 3rd. At least two Lady Cats moved on to regionals, Michelle Allen and Anna Adair, both moving on, and powerlifting coach Casey Jeter suspects that a few more will make the trip out as well. But lots of sports. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, Wildcats powerlifters lift a week later on Thursday, March 10th. That's at White House. Lots of sports going on here in Sulphur Springs, but when we return from commercial, we'll be talking with Alexi Upton about all things Wildcat soccer. Welcome back to the Coach's Show here on Saturday, February 26th, joined today by Coach Alexi Upton. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, Coach, as previously mentioned before we went to commercial break, your squad had a two-game homestand this week, and tough break getting the top two programs in soccer, Longview and Mount Pleasant, back-to-back twice over the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even their state rankings are really high. Longview's like 2 or 3, and Mount Pleasant's like 6. So, I mean, we got two of the most dangerous teams in all of 5A in our district. So, it's just something we have to go up against every year, and it's not really something we want, but it's something we're forced to do. So.
And while this two-game homestand may not have gone the way that you'd hoped, your team is far from eliminated from postseason contention. After Friday's game, the Wildcats are 5th in district, 3-5, Hallsville in 3rd, 3-4, Pine Tree 4th, 3-4-1, and Marshall 1-5 Marshall 6, 1-5-1. So. With Mount Pleasant and Longview season series in the books for your team, soccer can make a big push for the postseason, making a late run that could see your program make the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. We just need to beat the 4 that are, in our eyes, below us, and that's Hallsville, Pittsburgh, Hallsville, Pine Tree, Marshall, and Texas. The 4 that are below us, and we went 3-1 against all 4 of those in the first round of district. We had a tough game against Hallsville at Hallsville. But I think at our house, that being senior night, that'll be a big game for us and a game that we should take care of. So, 4 wins will get us in, and even 3 will get us in at a 4 seed, or should, So we're feeling good about ourselves. We just got to go take care of business and win the games we're supposed to win.
Absolutely, and just like you were talking about, 3-1 against those teams in the first part of the district season, and while it was unfortunate that previously mentioned you got Longview and Mount Pleasant back-to-back, all 3 next of your games, totally winnable.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to take care of business going to Texas on Tuesday. They're kind of towards the bottom of the district, and that's one we got to take care of. And then next week on Friday when we're at home, home to Marshall, they're at the absolute bottom of the district, and that was somebody that we handled pretty well the first time around. Getting 2 wins there and kind of seeing where we're at as Pine Tree and Hallsville kind of play Mount Pleasant and Longview and even themselves, that will kind of clear up the picture of where we need to go from there.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we'll be hearing more from Coach Upton in just a moment. Welcome back to the Coach's Show here on Saturday, February 26th. We were talking Wildcat soccer before we went to commercial break. And before we went to commercial, we discussed how the Wildcats are 5th, 3-5, behind only 3rd place Hallsville, 3-4. Pine Tree in 4th, 3-4-1 for a playoff spot. And just like previously mentioned, with matches over Texas High and Texarkana next Tuesday, home contest versus Marshall next Friday, and your second-to-last contest at Pine Tree. Next 3 games are crucial if soccer wishes to make a postseason run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 that we need to take care of, the 2 bottom of the district, Texas High and Marshall. We just got to go in the mindset of, 1 game at a time. Everything's a playoff game now. And that kind of makes it fun because that's kind of how it was last year, and that's why we went on such a great run. Is because we started getting really good at winning game. Just you got to go win a game. You got to go win 1 at a time. We got really good at that last year. So I actually kind of like where we're at. I don't like our record. I don't think it's reflective of really how talented we are. But like you said, we were 2 up against Longview, and they're top 2, top 3 in the state. So I think we're really a talented group, but we've just been kind of unlucky, and injuries have kind of hurt us. And so just next week go win 2, and then let's go from there and see where we're at.
And what we were talking about during commercial break, obviously it would be crucial if one of your goalkeepers could come back before the season ends, and even if he can't come back before the season ends, to get him potentially for a postseason run would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. His name's Nguyen, and he did incredible for us last year in our 3-round run, and he's a junior this year, and his first scrimmage at the very start of the year, about 15 minutes into the game, he got his clavicle broken, and he's been out for 2 months, and it's really hurt us. And we've tried a multitude of different people. We tried a field player, we tried 3 different goalies, and it just hasn't been the answer. So we're still plugging away, trying to figure out while he's gone, but him being back would be absolutely crucial. We're hoping to get him sometime soon, and that would be just huge for us. So.
And always tough losing one of your premier players. So many teams this year, as we were talking about during commercial break, Lady Cat soccer dealing with a slew of injuries, women's basketball, and you definitely don't want to lose players, but even more so when you have so many good teams and programs in district week in and week out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hallsville shocked everybody because they've been really quality, and nobody was really expecting that. And then, everybody knows that us and Mount Pleasant and Longview are always going to have a really good team. So it kind of caught us by storm, how good everybody is this year. Even the lower level guys are a lot more challenging than they have been in the past. Texas High got a new coach and Marshall got a new coach, and they've both been, staying in games a lot more than they have in the past. It used to be you just go there, you blow them out, and you walk out. And now it's like, it's going to be a good game. Like, you're probably going to win it, but it's going to be a very interesting game. So, the district got a lot harder. Every district opponent we see jokes about us, just having a cruise next year in 4A. But, we're like, hey, we still got to finish this out right now, and every game's hard. So, it's just, it's a really hard district, and we just got to go 1 game at a time from now and treat every game like a playoff mentality.
And big game Tuesday at Texas High, just like you were talking about. The Tigers kind of struggling in district standings, but one thing you never want to do is you never want to count out Texas High because they can pull one over you.
And the weird thing is every time we go to Texas High, it is like a really, really interesting game. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about that place, but every time we go there, it's like we go in overtime or we barely win 3-2 or 2-1. Or I don't know what it is. So literally all 4 of my years, we've barely won at Texas High. So I don't know what it is about Texas High, but every time we go there, it's a super interesting game. So, Yeah, we're gonna just have to keep working. We're gonna, like I said, every game's a playoff mentality from here on out. We got to go one at a time and just win, win, win.
And anything else you'd like to add, Coach?
No, sir. We're just ready to get going. Texas Eye on Tuesday, and then Marshall's Teacher Appreciation Night on Friday. So that'll be fun, and get some teachers out there and just tell them that we're super grateful for everything they do for us. So.
Great opportunity to give back to the community that's given you so much.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And we're going to take one last commercial break, and then we'll wrap up the Coaches Show. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Coaches Show here on Saturday, February 26th. We were joined today by Coach Upton. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach.
Appreciate you, sir.
And KSST is back in action early next week for the regional quarterfinals for Wildcats basketball. That game will likely be played Monday or Tuesday against Lufkin. As soon as that information is made public, we will be sure to post it on KSSTradio.com. But until then, we here at KSST sincerely hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll see y'all next time.